Alright, well, the new Inside Star Citizen video is out, and as you can see, it is about the RSI Zeus Mark II and the new MFDs that are coming to Star Citizen in... Well, the MFDs might be 3. Or might be 4.0, and the Zeus is probably, well, as it says here, 3.24.2. But it also has the MFDs there, so maybe the MFDs are coming to 3.24.2. But that's all speculation. I think it's best to leave it all up to my man Jared over there. And well, let's see.
First introduced at last year's CitizenCon, the RSI Zeus is steadily working its way through the ship pipeline to its intended release. And on this week's show, we'll take a look at 2 of its variants, as well as the new MFD rework that you've seen glimpses of here and there. It's a multifunctional show. Let's get to it.
I mean, it does look nice. The RSI Zeus. I actually thought it had a ramp, not a ladder. Is this CIG listening to the critique that they got with the C1 Spirit and the Mercury Star Runner? That it only has one entrance, one exit, and no other ways of entry? So that with the RSI Zeus Mark II, they were like, you know what, we're gonna add a second point of entry, we're gonna add ladders. I think that might be what CIG is doing. They're listening to feedback. Would you look at that? That's awesome. Yeah, maybe it is them listening. It looks really sleek though, I like it. Like, I always used to be a Crusader person. I always liked the Crusader look. But I'm not gonna lie, like last couple of months, I've been starting to be more of an RSI person. Ever since they really got the, what did you call it, the design of RSI down, with the Scorpius and then the Polaris ISC, and then now this. I think they're doing a really good job with RSI, and I like it. I'm starting to like RSI a lot more. Is the Zeus a transport ship? I think there is a combat ship, a transport ship, and a luxury? I'm not entirely sure.
Zeus Mk II is a reimagining of the original RSI Zeus. The Zeus was the first mass-made human exploration ship that was capable of doing
Lore.
We didn't want to just make the Zeus again. We wanted to kind of pay homage to what made the Zeus important, what made it iconic back then. We wanted to kind of give that an update and kind of bring it up to modern day visuals and you know, make sure it really feels RSI.
I mean, it feels RSI.
Style, but we feel it's almost a improvement upon the style. It's sort of an evolution of the style.
That's basically what I was saying. Like, I really feel like they've started nailing the RSI design, and I really like that. I'm starting to lean more towards RSI and more away from Crusader, which kind of feels like betrayal to me because I really like the Crusader ships. But yeah, I think this looks really good, and I can really get where he's coming from with the next evolution of RSI designs.
And so players will appreciate the consistency with other RSI ships.
Oh, look at
MFDs.
MFDs.
You can see the
look at them.
Technological advancement of.
I like both. I like both.
You may remember the Zeus from our episode in Jump Points a few weeks ago on Inside Star Citizen.
It was very good.
It was very good, Jared tells me. The Zeuses are a great stepping stone ship. So you've got your starter ship originally, you've dipped your toes in a few gameplay loops, and you just want to be able to do a bit more. The Zeuses allow you to do that with some friends.
So yeah, it supports up to 3 crew members, but you can fly it yourself if you want.
I feel like it's like the RSI version of the Freelancer.
The Zeuses for me are probably some of the best looking ships we've ever produced for Star Citizen. I think they really set a new visual standard in both their shape and style.
You're just saying that for ship sales, come on. I mean, to be fair, it looks really good, and I think it really means that RSI ships need an update design-wise, especially the Constellation. But of course you're gonna say the next shiny thing is your favorite ship. What else are you gonna say about it? Like, We've just designed a ship. I hate it. It's not gonna sell. Come on.
So when we release the Zeus, it comes with both the ES and the CL both together in the same patch.
The LS cargo?
ES is the exploration-focused variant
Okay.
of the Zeus. So
Exploration.
it has a modest-sized cargo bay, larger hydrogen and quantum fuel tanks,
Gonna be useful for
a larger
pyro.
radar, and a more spacious living area. The CL, the cargo version, maximizes its cargo capacity. It does that by shunting the sort of central bulkhead towards the front of the ship, so that increases the cargo capacity from 32 to 128 SCU at the expense of just really cramming in the living quarters to be much more
From
compact.
32 to 120, that's a lot. That's a big size increase.
The exterior of the Zeus ES has got that very kind of iconic RSI arrowhead shape.
We tried to stick to what was like the homage that the concept made of the first Zeus.
It keeps the kind of central fuselage. You've got this big kind of central mass with these lovely kind of quite fast and aggressive wings.
Really? You're gonna get the Zeus?
Feel quite aggressive and quite sharp, which I think builds on what RSI as a brand are kind of really about.
Yeah, I really like it.
The flat surfaces, the mix of materials, I think is very well balanced.
I'm still a massive fan of the underside.
Little turret coming out.
Get a little bit underlooked, or overlooked. Sorry. Yeah, but I think the underside, the belly, originally the plan was for it to be kind of completely...
Oh, look at that. I think this is kind of like paying homage not even to the Zeus Mark 1, but I think also to like space shuttles. Because the space shuttles also had these types of plating for re-entry. And I think they've done an amazing job like getting that to like stand out. I think they did an amazing job when it comes to that.
Smooth and completely all one surface.
Looks really good.
To work it up, the artists that were working on it kind of like, oh yeah, can we add a little bit of recesses? Can we add a little bit of relief into this shape just to kind of help build on the believability? And I think it was a real success.
So weaponry-wise, across all of them, the pilot has access to twin size 4 guns. Enemy down. And the side seats have access to the remote turrets.
Damn, it packs a punch, huh? A tractor beam arm.
When we look at the difference between the ES and the cargo, with the cargo we wanted to add a little bit more structure and believability into the exterior of the ship. This is supposed to carry a lot more weight, so we wanted to kind of bulk up the main structural points.
Tractor beam is really nice to have. I'm really missing that with my C2.
The other thing that a cargo version is going to require is some additional thrust, so we want to kind of bulk up the main thrusters at the rear that allow you to kind of take off, and those kind of downward pointing thrusters have grown in size, and add to that take off.
Is that a little bit of a glitch here?
Downward pointing thrusters have grown in size.
Oh no, it was just a light going out.
Believability that this vehicle can lift a bit more weight than the base version.
Okay. Fucking venues.
So if we start at the front of the ship, it's quite a tight space. One of the things that we kind of really
it feels quite
the vehicle is that
quite
packed, cramped.
That's the word.
To play with. So the cockpit is quite tight. You've got a nice kind of 3-person cockpit up the front.
Looks nice though.
The seating arrangement echoes that kind of arrow shape that we see on the exterior of the ship, and that just helps to make the pilot have the important up front seat, but also just ties everything together a little bit, which is lovely. As we go back through the ship,
I like it. This looks really good.
Area. This area changed quite a bit during the
airlock and engineering area.
The airlock and the engineering area.
Yeah. Okay.
This area changed quite a bit during the vehicle's development. We actually opened this space up a little bit.
Oh, the angled suit lockers look real nice.
We realised as we kind of got into production was that there was maybe a few too many doors. This really was the ideal place to kind of remove one of those and open that area up a little bit. So we've got this engineering section that has the kind of main docking collar and also has the ladder exit. So we've got our kind of 2 front exits on the vehicle. And then as we go back through the corridor section, we have like a bit of a crossroads. So you can either go into the kitchen area, which still has its nice window and looks out and is beautiful and perfect. Or on the right, we've got the habitation area where we've got 3 beds, toilet.
This looks nice.
Seating area, lockers, and everything you need really.
I'm not gonna lie, this looks incredibly good.
Get out, get out, get out.
And then as we go into the back of the ship, that's really where we get to our larger ship components and our cargo area.
That looks so good though. I really like it. I'm starting to like the ship a lot.
There's obviously a lot more space dedicated to cargo compared to the base version. To achieve that, what we've had to do is adjust some of the kind of like the rear layout of the ships.
We had to rearrange the components so that they're closer up to the doorway, and we had to move the weapon locker from the corridor into the actual cargo hold. So there was.
Oh, that's not a good thing. That is not a good thing.
To move the weapon locker from the corridor into the actual cargo hold. So there.
You don't want that. You really don't want your weapon locker in the cargo hold, because if that's your weapon, your weapon locker, and they shoot open your cargo ramp before you can get your gun, you're screwed. Because they'll just be able to hold your weapon locker. I don't really agree with that design change. I don't agree with that one.
There was a lot of rearranging.
But what that does buy us is enough space to fit the kind of extra cargo in. We've also had to sacrifice some of the kitchen area in the habitation. We've also had to.
I mean, it feels like it was like a lot of this was kind of wasted space, so.
Sacrifice some of the kitchen area in the habitation.
Yeah, okay, so you lose some storage, you lose, what is it, the microwave?
We've
Is it
also
the
had to
microwave? That's not a microwave, I don't know what that is, but you do lose that, but.
In the habitation.
I think it's fine. I think it's perfectly fine, sized like this.
You lose the sofa.
I think the rest was
and
wasted
nice
space.
Area, but on the positive, we get much more cargo space, which for.
Okay, no
dedicated
sofa,
cargo ship
okay.
is. But on
Okay,
the
yeah.
positive, we get much more
Yeah,
cargo
no
space,
sofa.
which for kind of a dedicated cargo ship is the most important thing.
You'll notice that on the floor, there'll be blue trimming exactly where the player can place cargo.
That's good.
It'll be a lot
That's
easier
good.
for the player to know where you can access the components versus where you can place
Yeah,
cargo
I like
inside.
that. That's good.
This has been a great first full ship from concept to
It looks
release
nice.
for the
It looks
modular vehicle.
really nice.
This is one ship that took an entire year to build. Like the amount of work that goes into these ships is insane, both in art and design.
They built on kind of what they'd learned with the cutters and really just done a fantastic job in taking what was the original vision
I
of the ship
really
and
like
delivering
it.
in
I
something that
really,
think
really like it.
It looks great, it should play great, and I think they just did a fantastic job across the board.
To me, the final product.
They've done a
shows
great job,
nothing
like, this
in
is
any other
good.
game that can come close to the level of detail, the amount of thought that got put into every button, every component bay, everything, is in its place.
So the Zeus is another great addition to the fleet of ships in Star Citizen, and being RSI, it obviously has that special touch, sharing the name with our company and founder. And
Of course.
we are excited to see this ship set foot in the verse and push along the RSI style ahead of a big year for RSI ships.
Big year for RSI ships? Polaris? Perseus? What else is coming?
Set foot in the verse and push along the RSI style ahead of a big year for RSI ships.
Ships don't set foot, John. They fly.
Got their feet.
Just being argumentative.
New MFDs, man. They look good.
The MFDs and the ship HUD and the PU, it's old.
And the actual UI itself is very small. One color, they're all in one color. Text is too small to read.
It's very samey, right? It has a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff on it that you don't really use.
Not
They all
very
feel the
user-
same.
new
Every
user
designer.
friendly.
Any user friendly.
Yeah, any user friendly.
It was good for its time. It did the job. It got us where we are today.
But it's time for something new, and that's what we're going to talk about.
The
Okay.
reason why we're doing this
Okay.
now is because we had a lot of time during the development of Squadron.
This looks
to
nice.
Create an expandable and
Yeah, the Hornets on Mark
more
1s are
robust
really hard to
system
read,
for
yeah.
MFDs.
Yeah, you're right.
We have a bunch of super
You're
nice
right.
MFDs ready for Squadron, and now we're moving them over to Star
To Star
Citizen.
Citizen.
It's
Yes,
also,
that's what we need.
Really good to bring it over now because
Yo, look at that radar.
Squadron, and now we're moving them over to Star Citizen.
it's all
That radar, this looks so good. You got the scanning here, you got the target status, you got your self status here, and then you got the radar over here.
So, really good
yeah, this
to
looks
bring over now
really
because
good.
we've
I
got
like
new resource
this.
network systems, so we need to.
Oh, it's my C2. Got your scanning over there, you got your target, you got your self status.
The MFDs here to.
The saber, you got the Aegis saber here. Yeah, power to different components. You got your scanning again, you got your power management, your self status.
Support that new gameplay.
This looks like an Argo ship. The Argo mole or raft, probably. By the looks of it.
Initial release, there'll be 5 visual styles.
Mole. Argo mole. Yeah. This looks, yeah.
MFDs and the HUDs.
There's Aegis.
Ooh. Yeah, this is the one from Squadron that we also saw in the gameplay from Squadron 42 at CitizenCon last year. For the Gladius.
It's very militaristic and it's very sleek.
Yeah, I like it.
Anvil is
okay, we got the Valkyrie over here.
great. I love the green color of Anvil. It feels a lot more like an F-16
Look at that
cockpit.
radar.
I love the.
I wouldn't, as someone who. Okay, so there's gonna be a lot of people here probably who haven't watched me play DCS. I'm a big F-16 pilot on DCS. This doesn't look anything like an F-16. Like, whatever he says, it doesn't look like an F-16 MFD at all.
The green color of Anvil, it feels a lot more like an F-16 cockpit. Drake is my favorite. It's retro.
Yeah, this looks
Blade
good.
Runner and CRTs.
I like.
There's
I'm not gonna lie. I think I like Drake's MFDs the most because that CRT feeling, retro feeling, that kind of stuff. I think. I hate to say it, but I think Drake looks the best. I hate to say it.
Argo?
It really feels like a piece of industrial equipment, which is what the brand is going for.
And there's the generic style that will support all the other ship manufacturers for the time being. For this
Okay, so
release,
Crusader
MFDs
gets
are
none
getting
of their
9
own.
different views. Oh, how many is that even? Well, let's go through it.
Okay, so we got Aegis, we got Anvil, we got Argo, and we have Drake. So we're missing RSI, which surprises me because you would think that RSI with the Zeus Mk gets its own MFDs. You know, I would say that would have been a good choice. Now we're missing Crusader Industries, MISC we're missing, and then all the alien stuff we're missing. What else am I missing? Argo's there. Raycat? Tumbril for the Nova. What else? What else are we missing? Well, you've got Mirai, but Mirai is probably going to be the same one as MISC, I would say. Yeah, I think that's it.
We'll start with self-status. Self-status includes all of the critical information about your ship, dependent on your current operator mode.
So this is the F8.
Numbers in guns mode. You'll have your current operator mode.
All right, so we got self status here, which this is your ammo here. Got your ammo.
So you'll have your ammo numbers in guns mode. You'll have your missile army.
You got your missiles here, yeah. I don't know. Mirai is a subsidiary of what you call it, MISC. So I don't think Mirai is gonna get its own MFD. I think they're gonna take MISC's MFD, maybe change up the colors a little bit, but that's probably it.
In missile mode, and your fuel readouts in quantum mode.
Ooh, that's nice.
There's also a unique version for turrets.
Mirai has a different role, yeah, but maybe they're gonna more like they might actually go more of the route of like an F1 car, like the F1 car MFDs. Because Mirai, well, it's not really it's not racing only. They also have the Fury, of course. The Fury isn't racing. The Fury is a small fighter. They have a racing variant, but you also have the Mirai Pulse. So they might go for more of like a racing, flashy MFD, based on the MISC MFD, I would say.
As well.
The third one looks nice.
Away a lot of.
You have no clue how useful it is. Seeing your turret orientation like this is so incredibly important. You also see this with like with tanks IRL. You have like with tanks IRL, you kind of have like the cross section of the tank, and then you have like another icon for the turret on top of it, so you can see where you're aiming compared to, you know, the front of the tank. So having this is incredibly nice. It's incredibly nice for turret gunners.
Well, fast from there. So this is simpler than before.
It's more condensed.
Origin, that's another one. I forgot about Origin.
The new systems that have been developed in terms of vehicle features. For example, it shows your updated gimbal modes.
Okay. Oh yeah, manual gimbal and fixed.
Current weapon group, which is a new thing as well.
This needs some work, because as you can see, some of the ammo counts kind of fall off the MFD. I mean, I guess you have it over here as well in the top left, but it kind of falls off on the main MFD.
Target status is the same thing, but it gives you the information about the target that you have currently selected.
It's
Velocity, no data, faction, no data. Okay.
A lot of players, the ship hollow, you're gonna want to see, am I dealing some damage or not?
Oh, that's nice.
Emissions, so you know what missile to use against them, and you will see.
Wait, you have emissions? Oh right, yeah. You got your IR over here. You got IR, you got EM over here, and then you have cross section over here.
Have the emissions.
That's
so you
nice.
know what missile to use against them, and you will see their name, so you know that you're not shooting the wrong person.
It's not as much information,
Of course,
because
you see the
obviously
name.
if you want to see...
Wait, do you see their name? Where is their name? I would say this is gonna be the name in the future. I think this is just a placeholder right now, but I think this is where the name is gonna be. I would also like to see what type of ship you're dealing with, because not everyone knows every ship from this screen. Especially newer players have no idea what they're going to be up against. So it'd be nice to have something like a status that shows you the ship type.
Missions, so you know what missile to use against them, and you will see their names.
This is nice to have, basically.
Shooting the wrong person.
It's not as much information, because obviously if you want to see how much ammo they've got, you've got to scan them. But it will show you their health, it will show you their faction, it will show you their velocity.
Oh, here's your Hornet. Here's the MFD for the Hornet. Probably the Mark II, I would say.
Config is entirely new. It links into the new weapon grouping system, so it will list out every single weapon on your ship.
Oh, this is nice.
That you have, they'll light up if they're selected, and also it allows you to assign them to one of 4 custom groups, so you can have any combination of weapons that you want firing at the same time.
That's
nice.
nice.
To see which group of weapons you're firing.
And
that's
if you
really,
don't
really
assign
nice.
One of those groups, if you feel like, well, 4's too many, I just use 2 anyway. Well, you can just assign to 2 of them, and you'll be fine.
This is good. This is
This
good
will be
change.
valuable, so the player can, in combat, switch between different modes depending on kind of distance and what kind of weapons they want to use.
On a day-to-day, you might
The Anvil
tracking down a
Hawk,
particular
okay.
target. It is a subject of a mission, and you know that a certain weapon is going to be more effective against them than another, or a certain weapon combination is going to be more effective. You can stick them all in one group and have quick access to that.
Nice. I like this.
Shields is pretty much the same as what it was.
Ooh, the
You can
Caterpillar
control each of your
MFDs.
shield faces if you have 4 shield faces. If you have 1, you can control the whole thing. And it gives you
Nice.
a reset button, so you can set it all back to default, and also you can see your total shield usage out of the maximum.
For the time being, this is going to be the same thing that you're already used to.
And along with that are scanning and communications. Scanning's been moved from the HUD.
Oh, there you go. When you're scanning them, you can see their name and their serial number, which is nice for the people that actually manage to name their ship. Because instead of a serial number, you'll be seeing their ship name. Which is nice for them, I guess. I don't have any of those ships, and I thought we would have more kinds of ships with ship naming by now, but no. It's still just a Mercury Star Runner, the 600i, the 890, and I think the Reclaimer. Maybe the Hammerhead was in there? I don't think the Hammerhead was in there.
To an MFD state. The new screen.
Parts, okay.
The biggest one is power management.
Oh, you can see the cargo too. Yeah, you can hit cargo there. Maybe later we get it too. I'd hope so, but I don't know. You got cargo here as well, which is nice.
The new screens, the biggest one is power management.
Engines on.
Its simplified version of what you'll find is.
How does it look in the dark? It's still it's still very readable in the dark with the light shining on it. It's still very much readable. You just need to start learning what kind of icons which one represents. So this is probably this is guns over here. This is engines probably, and then this is shields obviously. But I don't know about the other ones.
Version of what you'll find on an engineering terminal, but it's for sort of daily use for the pilot.
It's using the full power of the resource network system, and it gives it to you right there in the pilot seat, so you can do the full assignments as you like. And it's
so I don't know how I feel about this power distribution thing or power management. It kind of feels like we're moving in the way of the game FTL. If you're known with that one. FTL also had like a power management game, and it was also these kind of blocks that you would add on or remove based on what you need. I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll see when it's in our hands. We'll see when it's in our hands.
If you're flying solo. This is also where you will see your emissions. So if you're doing anything stealthy, you go into power management, you set your settings to low, and you will see your emissions adjust accordingly.
Yeah, right there.
You can turn on and off
different
systems in the ship. You can apply different levels of power to each system. You can see your total output, how much you're using, and you can also see different
it's a lot of firepower
readouts for those systems. So if something is run out of power or it's offline, it will also represent that on the power management MFD.
Engines off.
Along with that is the diagnostics view.
The diagnostics view is where you go to check in on your ship. If something's not feeling right, well, maybe.
Why does that to be the C2?
It will show you the wear that component is taken, as well as its current health and its status, whether it has any errors, and there'll be a summary at the top of the screen that shows you how many of your components have errors.
A2 Hercules,
what
okay.
I'm really excited about is the configuration screen. It takes a lot of the settings that were hidden away in the options menu or just in the back end and puts them right there for you to toggle in-world on your MFD.
Oh, this is nice. Thank you, CIG. This is great.
I'll turn off unwanted
this is
UI
amazing.
If you really wish to. You can turn off the cast, which is my favorite part. If you have screens on the top left and top right of your screen, then you can turn off those casts now to clear the UI a little bit.
So this configuration screen allows
you
to
nice.
configure a few aspects of some different MFD states, as well as what goes on your HUD and how that looks.
You can finally control what goes on our HUD?
We can finally control what goes on our HUD, yeah.
Perfect.
So let's talk about the HUD. Using the configuration screen, you can choose whether or not you're showing your MFD casts, which are simplified and more tactile versions of the self-status and target status screen.
Okay.
Functionality-wise, it's stuff you know already. You have your velocity, you have your afterburner, you have your annunciators, and you have different indicators.
They show critical information when you can't look at your dashboard in front of you. So if you're in a fighter and you're looking up in the sky, you can still see
this is good.
that, as well as allowing you to still see
this is really
that information
good.
when you're in precision targeting mode.
We've decided to clear up all of the nonsense we have in the middle and kind of make it out of the way of the middle of the screen. So
what took so long, Joe?
I'm sorry. It wasn't me.
It's quarter 42.
Oh god.
We've also done a little bit of work making the radar in the HUD feel more diegetic and making it look like it actually exists in the cockpit with grounding effects and emission rate origin points as well.
That's nice.
All just feels so much better. It feels real.
It does, yeah.
So with this new ship and vehicle HUD, it's just going to be a clearer experience overall. It's going to be clearer in the sense that you don't have stuff in your face all the time. It's going to be clearer in the sense that you can actually read the UI. So I think you'll be very happy with it. It's going to be such a nice thing to just be out in space and be able to see space, right?
Yeah, agreed. Oh, don't do this Quarter 42 music to me.
Well, we learned that the Zeus is the first ship made by the newly established Montreal vehicle team. That the MFD rework is an exciting and easily usable and customizable upgrade to what we've had before. And that it plugs nicely into the upcoming resource network and engineering work scheduled for Alpha 4.0, which will, of course, we'll be showcasing next week. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us
Hope
share
we're getting
the
it this year.
process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
No after scene? No after scene. Next week, yeah, 4.0 is gonna be next week on an ISC. 4.0 itself is not. However, we are getting a tech preview test tonight with up to 1,000 players. So, if all goes well, it's CIG, you know, they could blow the test for another day. We'll see. If they make it, that's gonna be great. Anyway, for the people watching the video, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe on YouTube. And see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.